Welcome to Selected Shorts, a celebration of the short story, Tales of Betrayal. I Am Not a Jew by John Biguenet, read by David Strathairn.
As he descended the narrow staircase into the hotel's tiny lobby, he thought about Ellen reading in bed. She was beginning to look old, tired. They both were. Guten Abend, Herr Andersen. The young man at the desk, smiling and nodding, took him by surprise. Ah, good evening. For some reason, he pointed up the stairs and added, My wife is staying. The clerk cocked his head as if he didn't understand. In our room, while I take a walk, the American tried to explain. Wie bitte? Andersen knew the expression. He had been forced to use it himself over and over again in the little town where almost no one, it seemed, spoke English. Sorry, he had apologized to one shopkeeper after another. What did you say? Wie bitte? Fortunately, his wife's German was much better than his. She had handled most of the conversation since their arrival that afternoon, even ordering their dinner at the famed restaurant that was the reason for their detour of nearly 100 kilometers to Waldheim. Nicht, he shook his head, smiling at the boy. Nothing. Andersen turned the knob and opened the door. Grüß Gott, the clerk called. The boy regarded the man, waiting for a response. Yes, Grüß Gott, he replied. Then, because it sounded to his ear so strange a farewell, he repeated it in English to himself. Greet God. Though well after 10 o'clock, the light had not yet faded in the lively Marktplatz, which the quaint hotels and cafes surrounded. But the alleys, leading from the town square, were already darkening. Restless, he thought about a bowl of ice cream. Earlier, in the window of a crowded shop, he had seen a photograph of Kartoffelice, ice cream molded to look exactly like a baked potato trimmed with all the toppings. And he was tempted by another photo of what appeared to be a plate of vermicelli and meatballs and tomato sauce. Spaghetti ice. But the constriction of the satin money belt cinched around his waist reminded him that he had gained too much weight on this trip already. A fountain halfway down a long alley caught his eye. Out of habit, he looked over his shoulder. The square was bustling with families and flirting teenagers and old couples on benches. No one suspicious. He laughed at his hesitation. You're not in the States, he reminded himself. The fountain...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?